Welcome to Fraser Mac Gaming. I'm Fraser Mac. This is the latest video in my Fraser Mac Gaming news series, where I go through the latest news for the Switch, cover the games coming to everyone's favourite hybrid system, and I have the occasional rant when something pisses me off. In recent weeks, the rumours have all been about an imminent Nindies Direct during August. Then we got a UK Indie Highlights presentation, which just caught everyone by surprise, and it confused a lot of gamers and YouTubers alike. I called it though, and I knew there'd be a separate Nindies Direct to come. You didn't really need to be Detective Pikachu to figure it out, but I'm going to take some credit anyway. So last week's announcement, there would be an Nindies Direct on Monday 28th of August. So which games were announced, what do I think of them, and was the Nindies Direct a big anti-climax? Find out after this. We got a strong start to the Nindies Direct with Hyper Light Drifter Special Edition. It was up first. It's a 2D pixelated 8-bit action RPG that has some really dramatic visuals and epic scenes to boot. I've been looking out for it for a while, and it was another of my long list of games I wanted on my Switch, but it didn't quite make the final 10. It's another game that takes strong influences from Zelda: A Link to the Past, and you play as the Drifter. You've been infected with an illness and you need to harness long forgotten technology, an energy sword and other abilities and weapons you find along the way to find a cure. There's awesome battles, exploration, puzzle solving and, you guessed it, epic boss battles to top it all off. It's been out on other platforms for a couple of years now with strong reviews, but this Switch has exclusive content. That's what we want to hear. There's a new cape which helps you find secrets and collectibles, and there are 2 new weapons as well. You can use a crystal shot and a blade caster once you complete the tower climb. It's an awesome addition to the Switch that we've been waiting for a while now, but the wait is almost over as you can play Hyper Light Drifter Special Edition September 6th. It's available for pre-order now and it costs $17.99 in the UK and $20 in the US. Yep, just call me Mystic Meg. What? You didn't watch my top 10 indies I want on Switch video? Well, go and watch it now. The card will be in the top right of the screen. So another strong game early in the Direct from Mapmates Games. It's Towerfall on Switch. Yes, it's led by that wonderful person Matt Thorson of Celeste fame, and it's finally coming to Switch. I've already covered it in my previous video, but Nintendo had news of some lovely new content for this multiplayer pixelated archery combat party game. Why play 4-player when you can play 6-player battles locally on Switch? It includes expansions from Towerfall Darkworld and Towerfall Ascension. You can now play a 4-player co-op and there are new playable characters. Yep, you can play as Madeline and Badeline from Celeste. It's another game you can play soon as it's releasing September 27th and it's available for pre-order on the eShop now. It's $17.99 in the UK and it's around $20 in the US. Next up, it's a fun little matching puzzle game. Yep, Treasure Stack. It looks a lot more complicated than Tetris ever was. It mixes the usual fallen blocks matching puzzle mechanics with some platforming as well as a grappling hook to drag the blocks you want to create matches. You can play against your friends locally or against others online. It'll have competitive cross-platform elements as well. It has online rankings and there are over 100 unlockable cosmetic items to customise your character. It will have full HD rumble support as well. That will give you feedback when using the grappling hook. And Treasure Stack is coming this winter, so it'll be interesting to see what price they pitch it at. It could be something I pick up in a sale at some point down the line. Zarvot is a bit of a strange name for a game, but it's launching first on Switch in October. It's a competitive arcade cube shooter where you can play with friends in up to 4-player battles. There's a story mode where you can explore friendships between cubes and create the best birthday present a cube could ever want. Maybe fingers or an opposable thumb or 2 would come in handy. I don't know, just a suggestion. It looks fast, charming and a little bit crazy. It even features a giant banana, for no apparent reason. It does look a lot of fun though, and if you've got friends to compete with online or locally, it looks like it could be a great party game. I do love shooters, this could be interesting. The words missiles and lasers were mentioned, so I'll reserve judgment until I see more. It's the announcement you've all been waiting for. Or maybe not. Mineko's Night Market is coming to Switch early 2019, and it's appearing on consoles first via the Switch. I'd get excited about that part, apart from the fact it's a story-driven game with cartoony graphics and it has a lot of cats in it. I think this one is for the Little Dragons Cafe crowd. Let's just move on. Samurai Gun 2 is a cool name for a game, but it looks ugly as sin. I'm sorry Samurai Gun 2, but we're not all meant to be hand-drawn, highly detailed works of art. But what you don't have in looks, you do look like you make up for in fast-paced gameplay and content. It's part platformer, part multiplayer battle action game, which also features the graphic novel Trigger Soul, which looks kinda cool. I wish the game looked as good as the graphic novel and some of the sketches that they've shown for the characters, but we can't have it all. Gun City looks like it could be a lot of fun to explore, and I'll be keeping an eye out for it as it releases early 2019. Hello console exclusive for Switch. Looking good, Bullet Age. Yeah, post-nuclear fallout, there's a 2.5D action platformer with guns and a cool art style, and a lead character called Ash. I'm in. I'm excited. I'm liking the look of this game. This looks like they wrote down all the fun things I'd like in an indie game, and they just rolled them all together and wrapped them up in a nice little bow. If there were shoot 'em up levels as well, then I think it would be near perfect. It's got hidden secrets, swords, all kinds of upgradable guns, and even a few little boat trips for all you Wind Waker fans. I'm hoping it lives up to how it looks, because right now I'm really looking forward to Bullet Age dropping in November. What the masterful people at Nintendo give with one hand, they take away with the other. That's what I thought of as soon as I saw The Wall Next Door following Bullet Age. It's a story-driven game with rebellious teenage characters who've got weird head horns or thumbs on their foreheads or something. It looks like someone has taken a load of concepts like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, magic, teenage angst and puzzles and then mushed them together into a horrible little fluffy game. It involves a lot of reading and clicking and most likely falling asleep if I ever played it. The Wall Next Door is out early 2019. Yeah, that intro was kind of crazy, and the voiceover was even more crazy if you listen to it initially. I did not expect this kind of game when I listened to that. It's a Mario Maker mixed with a Wall-E level building platforming game online thing. When I stopped listening to the voiceover guy, I really started to enjoy the trailer and the idea of the game. I think the art style looks cool. It looks like there's a lot of love has gone into it, and there's some really cool backgrounds. The menus and icons look a little bit like they're from a mobile game, and it is available for Android and iOS, so that's probably why. There's a single player campaign, there's all sorts of online level sharing, opportunities to create your own levels, create your own following, follow other creative level builders in the level hub. You can play levels with up to 4 friends locally, and you can also build levels together in the workshop. Levelhead is coming to Switch this November, just ignore the voiceovers. There's a ton of multiplayer battle party games on Switch, and even in this Direct. But King of the Hat is another interesting take on the genre. It's a simple 2-button game where you have to crush your opponent's hats to win. It's got a colourful cartoon art style, you can play 4-player locally, and there's also ranked online battles. It looks perfect for quick pick-up and play sessions with 15 playable characters to choose from, including a washing machine for some reason. Who knew washing machines wore hats? King of the Hat is releasing early 2019. Kurt Scott, I'm looking at you for this one. Don't try and explain your way out of it. Untitled Goose Game. What the hell is this? It looks like a lot of basic Unity assets have been thrown together, and it's trying to be funny by calling itself a goose simulator. Don't judge a goose by its cover, but it better have some great writing and some great humour. A goose simulator called Untitled Goose Game. I don't know how that pitch went to Nintendo, but I think I'm missing something. It releases early 2019. Next. It's too late, Kirk. Someone edited in the wrong game. Let's just move on. These next games better be good though, and they better be coming to my Switch soon. This is more like it. Where have all these games been hiding then? Yeah, Desert Child is part hoverbike racer, part shooter, with lots of races and missions in a retro pixel art style. You want to relocate to the Red Planet for a better life, but you have only 2 weeks to earn enough money, and you've got to take part in races, deliver pizzas, collect guns, take jobs as a bounty hunter, and explore cities. You can customise your bike with guns, amplifiers, and plaster it with adverts for extra cash. There's lots of secrets to discover, and you can compete with your friends in local multiplayer races. Desert Child arrives on Switch this December. Wasteland 2 Director's Cut is a post-apocalyptic RPG strategy game that came from the producer of the initial Fallout game. It's meant to have 80 hours of gameplay in it. It has been on other platforms for 3 years, but it's had solid reviews on PS4, Xbox One and PC. It arrives on Switch September 13th, but it has a fairly hefty price tag of £23.99 in the UK and $30 in the US. A real good get for Switch is an Indie Star, which originally released back in 2011. I've seen lots of hints and many requests for Bastion to come to Switch, but this was a surprise announcement from what I've seen anyway. Bastion has just got a beautiful hand-painted art style. It's full of vibrant colours, and the levels, they just float in the sky. It gives it a really unique view for the player, and it's just a really creative layout. You play as the Silent Kid, who is awoken after the calamity, an apocalyptic event which has shattered the city of Colondia and the surrounding area. This is why the land is now floating in segments in the sky, and you must locate the Bastion. It's a place where people go in times of trouble, and you've got to collect the cores to restore Colondia to its previous glory. Bastion has had a huge critical and commercial success on multiple platforms, with millions of sales, making the game an absolute smash hit for Supergiant Games. Bastion is a game I'll definitely be picking up. It's available September 13th for only $10.99 in the UK and $15 in the US. A game that shouldn't need any introduction is The Messenger. It was highlighted as part of the Nindies showcase in spring, and it's already getting rave reviews and tens from all kinds of reviewers. It's a retro-inspired ninja 2D action platformer, which also manages to segue into being a legitimate Metroidvania game. It's got a lot of competition, but if you believe the reviews, it's managed to combine multiple different genres in glorious 8-bit and 16-bit graphics, with an awesome chiptune soundtrack and lots of humour thrown in to boot. It could be the game that sparks survival of Shinobi, Ninja Gaiden, and maybe even a Jackie Chan Kung Fu game. Ninjas are cool again. It's out now. It's available for $17.99 in the UK and $20 in the US. Also, because of the Special Reserve Games' relationship with Devolver Digital, there's some very strong hints of a physical release coming before you know it. I'm not going to talk about the next game too much, but Undertale was revealed coming to Switch as part of a Nintendo Direct earlier this year. It's coming out September 18th, and at $11.99 in the UK and $15 in the US, it's a bargain. Fangamer also has an exclusive collector's edition for the Switch, and a standard edition is available as well. I've never tried out the Jackbox Party Pack games, but Jackbox Party Pack 5 is coming to Switch in October. Now, I'm a dad, and I don't have any friends, and I definitely don't have any parties, so this one isn't for me. Those talented people who brought us Bastion are at it again. Yep, Supergiant Games are bringing us their second game to the Switch. Transistor, it originally released in 2014. It's a sci-fi themed action RPG that again features some gorgeous hand-painted artwork. There are elements of isometric strategy and straight-up real-time battle. You get to play as Red and seek revenge with the Transistor, a giant sword-like weapon. It was meant to be used to kill you by the robotic force called the Process. You can explore the city of Cloudbank and discover the secrets of the Transistor as the story unfolds. Transistor releases on Switch in November. We're coming to the last few games now, and there's some really cool and interesting ones, and there's also some stinkers. Dragon March for Death looks like a cool old school 2D action RPG, right up my street. It's got a cool 16-bit fantasy aesthetic, and you can play together with up to 4 players or play with online multiplayer. There are 4 Dragonkin characters to choose from with unique characteristics and abilities. It promises dozens and dozens of hours of gameplay, and with hundreds of screens per main quest and 30 main quests to conquer, it probably lives up to that as well. Dragon March for Death could get drowned in the Smash Bros Ultimate hype as it releases the week after Smash. It's out on December 13th. Lightfingers is a game I didn't really pay that much attention to first time around, but after watching the Nindies Direct back, it looks like a really interesting game. Numismatic Games have combined a cool interactive board game with Ninja Warrior style puzzle turn based races. It's set to a story of thieves wagering the loot on their favourite game, Lightfingers. don't know how they've done it, but a game that includes the word board game, card game and turn-based strategy in the description has my attention. You can play it with 3 of your friends locally, or you can play the single player campaign as well. You won't have to wait much longer either, as you can get your hands on it September 20th. And the title for worst looking game goes to Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery EP. I don't get it. Again, there must be something I'm missing, but I'm a very visual person when it comes to games. It doesn't have to be the most modern art style either. I appreciate all things retro, but it looks like someone forgot to focus the camera on this game. Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery EP releases October 2018. And that was the last game. No, you know it wasn't. Nintendo was never going to leave us like that. This was the moment I dreamed of. A big reveal. Something to get everyone racing to the eShop. A follow-up to an indie hit like Super Meat Boy Forever, or Shovel Knight King of Cards, or dare I say it, Cuphead. Yep, I'm itching to get me some Cuphead on Switch, no matter what the exclusivity is on Xbox. Then Nintendo gave us Into the Breach. A lot of people cheered. I'm sure some did race to the eShop because it was available right there and then. But a tile-based tactic game isn't the big reveal I was looking for. I just kind of went, nah. Don't get me wrong, it sounds like a coup for Switch as it's had some great reviews on Steam and it only came out this year. It's got mechs, but it's a turn-based tactics game. So that was the Nindies Direct. We got 22 games in all. Some got me excited, some will just ignore, and some genuinely hurt my eyes. The highlights for me would have to be Hyper Light Drifter, Bullet Age, The Messenger and Bastion. Let me know in the comments down below which games you're really excited for, which games you really hated, what you thought of my comments on any of the games. Do you think it was fair? And are there any other games out there you're excited for that will be coming to the Switch soon that maybe weren't in the Nindies Direct? So overall, I thought it was a bit of a mixed bag. There was a lot of things that just really weren't for me, but there were a few things in there I definitely liked and I'm excited for that I didn't know about before. And I think that's the point of an indie showcase. So hope you enjoyed the video. Hit that subscribe button if it's your first time, turn on notifications and check out all my social media. I'm at Fraser Gaming on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook, and I'll see you on the next video.